With nearly 3 weeks to go until the critical New York primary, Brooklyn native Bernie Sanders is hoping for an upset. Sanders launching his New York campaign with a raucous rally in the Bronx, drawing thousands of supporters, especially young people, as the senator born in Brooklyn looks to beat Hillary Clinton in the state she has represented as a senator, which is now her adopted home. Some political experts say if he beats her in New York, all bets are off. Let's talk about it with Mark Larson, Southern California radio host, and Kevin Chavis, Democratic strategist and former D.C. councilman and education advisor to President Obama and President George W. Bush. Also executive director of the American Federation for Children. That is quite a title, Kevin, so we're going to start with you. What's it looking like when the guy who was born in Brooklyn takes on the senator who used to represent the state?
Well, Bernie Sanders has made a lot of inroads by talking the language that people want to hear. He's been more practical as opposed to political, and that's been a real problem with the way a lot of these national politicians have approached dealing with the electorate. That's why, frankly, Donald Trump has resonated, and Bernie Sanders has done the same thing. He's using plain talk and talking to people in a way that they really understand. But the issue is, can he take that to the next level in New York? To do so, I think he needs to extend beyond himself and get more into the substance. That's where talk about education could make a big difference.
Well, you know, politics is a funny thing, Mark, as you well know. Sometimes, you know, just an unexpected victory someplace can launch your campaign in directions it wasn't expected to go. If you look at the numbers right now in Wisconsin, Bernie Sanders is beating Hillary 48-43. Could that be the momentum, I guess, that drives him to a victory in her home state?
Clearly, she's feeling the burn, and she's feeling the burn from the FBI investigation heating up as well. And on the issue of education with this, I think one of the big components, and Kevin's right talking about this issue with how things can turn if he talks about education. I wish he would, because there's a lot of educated students on the university campus that seem to be buying hook, line, and sinker this everything's free mantra. That doesn't exactly say, hey, America, you're getting a great education. Civics isn't taught the way it should be taught. There's a lot of issues there that make it ripe for whatever claims are made by politicians. And of course, right now we see Hillary exposing some of the same things that I think are her core values, just emancipated. She's not co-opting some of Bernie's points and issues. I think that's been inside her all along. We're just seeing that released now in this environment as well.
Well, Kevin, I know that you know Wisconsin pretty well, Kevin. What's driving the Sanders campaign, or the difference between these two candidates there?
Well, I mean, he's speaking a populist message that people can resonate with. But to go to Mark's point about, you know, not just Wisconsin, but New York, in order for him to win New York, what he really has to do is get more African-American and Latino voters on his side. And I think tapping into the real education realities of America can make a difference. Look, the fact of the matter is that 2/3 of American high school graduates are not college or career ready. 48% of our public schools are underperforming or failing. So free college doesn't matter to the vast majority of people who are graduating from our high schools today. So what I think he should do is really be bold and take on this whole idea of making sure that the education cartel knows that he's looking at them the same way he looks at the Wall Street cartel or the oil cartel. It really comes down to powerful interests who are self-protecting, and if he talks about things like school choice and real systemic reform, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I've said on this program before, I mean, college is great, but when there are states like Nevada where not even 50% of the kids are graduating from high school, Mark, it's pretty tough to get a college education off something like that.
Right, and this is a big problem for Hillary Clinton when she's trying to be the third Obama term. I mean, this idea, you see the president act like it's not his problem either when he talks about Washington and all these other problems. And, you know, he's been president for the last almost 8 years. If she's embracing that as she has been and is a big part of that, undeniably, then a lot of the problems we're talking about here, education and many others, national security issues, come home to roost right there. So that's, again, another reason why I think she's got to be very concerned, despite her superdelegates and all the intrigue with that Bernie is showing some momentum here. And that's why she's also breaking out some of the tried and true topics, go after Republicans, talk about Trump as the boogeyman, or whichever Republicans up there to play the women card, victimization card, race card,
but Mark,
you name it. She's feeling it.
That's not going to work, because one thing that, and this is an opportunity and advantage that Bernie could have, Bernie can't go any further to the left than Hillary is. I mean, she's got the union support. She's got a lot of the status quo behind her, and this is his opportunity to talk to real people. Look, if you look at a day in the life of the working class and low-income family member, they want to make sure their kids go to a safe neighborhood school, which, frankly, for most of them doesn't exist, and they also want better opportunities in terms of quality education. If Bernie just spoke to those issues, and instead of talking about free college, what about free transportation to a private school that is funded publicly, similar to what Governor Cuomo and a vast majority of other union members, like firefighters and nurses and police, they want that. They support this issue, and if he did that, it would distinguish himself from Clinton.
You think, Mark, this Democratic race is going to get uglier?
Oh, you bet it's going to get uglier, especially if the FBI brings any amount of heat on this, and if the Justice Department concurs, and there's more you-know-what to pay there. The problem with Bernie, getting back to the previous point, when you're that, I'll give it to him, he's consistent. When you're a consistent socialist, I know he says he's a democratic socialist with small letters and all of that, but it's hard to grasp some of the principles we're talking about here. I don't know that he has it in him on that, because when you grow up and your economic view is the rent-controlled apartment in the New York area, that doesn't exactly give you a broad view of entrepreneurialism and how you can really help people help themselves through the right policies.
Good discussion.
As opposed to just promising everything for free.
Mark Larson and Kevin Chavous, we appreciate it. Thank you both.
Thank you.